Raise your hand if you remember flipping through a 17 magazine when you were younger and trying to determine whether you were an apple or pear shape. Have you made sure to do your color season analysis yet? I think I'm a bright spring, but I go back and forth between a warm autumn. The cool tone, the warm tone. Do I only wear silver jewelry? Do I only wear gold jewelry? Did you know that you can tap into your best self by dressing for your astrological sign, but not the sun sign, okay? That's the caveat. You gotta go to your Venus sign. Oh, and can't forget about your Kibbe body type. Hello, there's one actually called dramatic, which shape-wise, looking at the graph, my body is definitely not, but spiritually, absolutely. Hi, I'm Caroline. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I decided I want to interrogate these ideas we have around what's flattering as it pertains to fashion and the role it plays in trying to hone in on your sense of style and these different systems set up to help us do that and how they've both hurt as well as helped me. This video actually spawned from a recent previous video of mine where I reacted to all of your fashion hot takes that I asked you to submit on my Instagram, and there were a few different submissions around this idea of flattering fashion and how it can be quite limiting, and the goal of an outfit shouldn't be to look skinny, we need to embrace the ugly more, etc. I realized I had so much to say about these different topics, but they all kind of fall under the same general umbrella that I needed to dedicate an entire video to them, and so here we are. Right to start off this video by giving a brief summary and info dump for anyone out there who maybe hasn't spent an entire evening scrolling through hours of color season content on TikTok and taking different quizzes, uploading photos of yourself trying to determine what shade of purple suits you the best. Although it might seem like a recent uptick in this cultural obsession we have with color seasons and where your body type falls on this graph, these things are not new. They've been around for decades. They just weren't able to be trending on TikTok until now. I mean, many such cases, with many such things. So seasonal color analysis was quote-unquote invented, and very heavy on the air quotes, by Carol Jackson with the publishing of her book Color Me Beautiful in 1973, but this didn't really start to gain popularity until the 1980s when color theorist Susan Cagill combined color psychology with seasonal palette theory. The technique around color analysis attempts to place individual coloring into tonal groups of winter, spring, summer, and autumn with subvariants like cool winter or soft summer. I won't sit here and deny that certain colors don't maybe look better on certain people. I mean, you put me in a royal purple or an emerald green, oh, it's over. Don't compete where you can't compare. I go to the grocery store when I'm having a particularly bad day and I need some validations in an emerald green dress. It is just a showering of compliments. Like, who called the paparazzi? They won't quit. Where my potential problem with or reservations when it comes to this idea of building an industry around something like a seasonal color analyst and going and paying a color consultant hundreds of dollars to sit you down in front of a mirror and hold up different swatches to your face to determine which one looks best on you and why it looks best on you and it can improve your wardrobe and maybe even your life. It's when you click under those hashtags on social media for seasonal color analysis and you realize it is pretty much exclusively all women. Something a little unsettling about that. Similarly to seasonal color analysis, we also have stuff like Kibbe body type, a method established by fashion stylist David Kibbe through his book in 1987 called David Kibbe's Metamorphosis: Discover Your Image Identity and Dazzle as Only You Can. A title so long it could literally be the title of a Lana Del Rey song. This is a system that classifies different body shapes and aesthetics based on a balance of the yin, referring to feminine soft features, and the yang, which refers to masculine sharp features. There are 13 different results or image identity types, and the goal of this is to help you choose clothing that best flatters your bone structure, flesh, and facial features. You can be guided towards certain silhouettes, fabric textures, and design details that will work for you based off of these identities and help you have a more kind of overall harmonious style versus dressing just based off of measurements like chest, bust, and waist. And again, just like with color season, I am not going to deny that somebody who has a natural body type on the Kibbe scale is gonna look different in certain clothing than a person with a classic body type or a romantic. It's more so once I kind of look below the surface, it starts to feel a little more sinister, but I mean, even at first glance, you maybe have noticed that with both of these systems, they are not only just overwhelmingly geared towards women, but also white women. David Kibbe's book pretty much exclusively featured not even white women, but thin white women. Of course, if you do go and look under these hashtags on social media, you will find women of color and all different body types and even some men participating in this stuff. But I mean, the marketing for women is obviously very intentional, because why would a man need to know about his Kibbe body type? You go up and ask the average man on the street what a Kibbe body type is, he's gonna be like, are you speaking a different language? What's happening? No, I haven't been conditioned since I was a child to look at my appearance through a microscope. Come on now. It's pretty obvious. I think we all know why this is something marketed towards women. It is much more lucrative to do so, and capitalism has a lot more to gain. But that right there, the big ol' C word, my favorite, that's gotta make an appearance in every video, that is where it gets a little more sinister. What does it say about these systems that are supposedly supposed to help us as women, and mainly white women, that they are ultimately products being sold to us, and the things they're selling are these tools used to help us meet a standard, and the standard is ultimately rooted in white supremacy. Yeah, I know. I hate it too, but somebody's gotta be the too woke friend, so I'll do it and wear it like a badge of honor. Now, let me not be so doom and gloom for a second, and I will say I don't think most people are participating in these systems with any sort of ill intent, and I can totally understand the appeal of this stuff. So convenient to be able to take a quiz and have this system that categorizes you and gives you this kind of nice, neat, pre-packaged recommendations on what to wear. Going through the comments left under a Kibbe body type video, I saw so many people expressing their genuine appreciation for this system and how it helped them develop their style and even step outside of their comfort zone by trying something new that they would have never thought of before they were given the recommendation to do so. However, on the flip side, there were also people expressing what I felt, which was that a lot of these recommendations are very catered towards a conventional standard that is also a white standard. The sentiment as well about what it means to base your wardrobe and style around what suits you best and the sense of what is most flattering versus what suits you in the sense of it sparks joy and you feel your most authentic self when you wear it, and how limiting that can be. All of this is hinging on the assumption that everybody wants to wear what looks the most flattering, and by doing that you will see a positive outcome. But what happens when you're someone like me who unpacked and tried to free myself from this idea of what's flattering a couple of years ago, and I have never seen more growth in my style as well as my confidence? What then? Some pertinent background information before getting any further into this video that you should know about me, because although all of my videos are of course skewed through my lens and biased, this one in particular and this subject is affected by the fact that I am in recovery from an ED. I briefly mentioned this in previous videos, usually jokingly, because if I can't laugh at the horrors I experienced in my adolescence, in part because of the debilitating mental illness I was suffering from, what can a woman do? I wanted to bring this up though because on a more serious note, I know, shocking for once, but my ED and the sort of crossover I experienced with that and the obsession with being as small as I could possibly be, which isn't the reason I had my ED, but it was a symptom of it, does also coincide with a lot of the teachings of what makes something so flattering. The nipping and tucking and cinching and highlighting the smallest parts of your body, which in return as a woman is seen as being the pinnacle of beauty. At least that's what the patriarchy is telling us, and white supremacy and capitalism, because they all go together. There's like the three demonic entities constantly just like looming over my shoulder, and I am constantly waiting to bring up in any and every discussion. Regardless of why I was engaging with these standards, which is relevant to the conversation, but it became undeniable that the how and my desire to constantly center thinness in both my life as well as with my outfits, I was really confronted with that when I entered ED recovery. I was breaking down all of these barriers I had built for myself, but really the three previously mentioned evil entities had done most of the work for me, and instead finally give myself permission to just look ugly. I know. it's groundbreaking. I'm joking, but I'm also not, because it is unfortunately a statement, an act of rebellion to, as a woman, just let yourself look bad. Getting to a point where, transparently, it's taken me years to get here, that I don't just tell myself that I can look bad, but I genuinely believe I can look bad and it's not going to be the end of the world. I can let myself try something new and look back and be like, ooh, wasn't a great look, maybe wouldn't do it again, and be like, that's okay. There's so much to learn from taking risks with your style and developing your taste, what you like and don't like, feel comfortable in, what feels most authentic to you. There's so many times where I am trying on clothing that I maybe want to buy, or even putting together an outfit in the morning, and I just close my eyes and feel and move in like the physicality of the outfit that does so much of the like determining whether I like the outfit or not. Experimenting is such a crucial part of being able to hone in on your personal style, and in order to do that, you gotta give yourself the freedom to experiment, and it'll turn out good, but also it's gonna turn out bad sometimes. I really resent this idea of timeless dressing and style as it pertains to looking back at photos of yourself and never regretting something that you wore, or a certain hair color or lipstick or those bangs that you got after a breakup, because I think you're really robbing yourself of the opportunity for growth. What a shame to stunt your own self-discovery. There is an argument to be made in this discussion, however, that this idea of self-discovery can take a lot of time, you know, when it comes to your style, and some people don't have that, or the energy, they don't want to put in the effort, and they would much rather just take a quiz and have it kind of guide them in the direction of style. That comment section I mentioned earlier under the Kibbe body type videos, I'm gonna bring that back around, because there were a few commenters under those videos who had brought up the fact that they had had EDs and body dysmorphia, and Kibbe body type really helped them with their style and getting dressed, and this just goes to show how different and how we all contain so many multitudes, and the nuance that needs to be brought to this conversation, because I have had the complete opposite experience with the Kibbe body type. If you're unfamiliar, these quizzes ask questions along the lines of, do you have more sharp angular shoulders, or would you say they're softer and rounded, which as a person who also has body dysmorphia, I do not wish to perceive my body. I actually prefer to navigate the world as though I am a shapeless amoeba. I know that's not how the world perceives me, but I gotta do what I gotta do, right? Don't worry though, because there is an option where you can take photos of yourself from every angle and upload them and have a consultant tell you what your Kibbe body type is, which I'm gonna be so real with you, like, I could not ever do that. A gun to my head, I don't want to know what my body looks like from every single angle. No. No, this is all a me problem. I am very aware, trust me. I've paid a therapist thousands of dollars to make me aware, and it's also why I really want to stress that I don't view this topic of flattering as something that is inherently good or inherently bad, and I am certainly not above it. If there is any lesson that I'm hoping you take away from this video, it is just to really interrogate and understand the intentions behind the stuff that you're wearing and why, and just be aware of that. And two things can exist at once. You can wear something because it resonates with a part of you and you're very drawn to it and feel confident and authentic wearing this item, and also it just happens to be something that falls into a super flattering on you category. Like for me, emerald green. Oh, I'm whipping out the emerald green skirt, putting it on. It's over. You're done. A redhead and emerald green? Pivoting away from emerald green to something like a low-waisted pant, which is apparently supposed to look bad or unflattering on me, as I have a long torso and then short legs, so I should reach for a high-waisted pant to elongate my legs and make me look taller, because that is what is going to make me look my best. I personally don't really like high-waisted pants. I think there's a time and place, but usually, especially high-waisted jeans, I just feel like my midriff is being held captive in a denim prison and I want to free her, and so my way of doing that is by wearing a mid to usually low-rise pant, about right under the belly button, is what I feel both most comfortable and confident in, and cute. it's like, yeah, maybe my legs look short, whatever, I have short legs, who cares? There's so many things that have been just kind of culturally viewed as these fashion faux pas, like mixing metals. You need to choose if you're a gold girl or a silver girl and make sure to do it based off of whether you have warm or cool tones. And I'm like, well, why can't I just wear both and also wear both and mix them together? Or even something like just shapeless amoeba chic, which I've mentioned in this video and so many times on my channel. I am a huge proponent of just loose, free-flowing garments, and it feels like kind of this fighting back of the impulse I would give into so much growing up of wearing a loose dress and putting a belt around my waist and cinching and finding the shape because I was told that's what I would look best doing. And it's like, well, why can't I just like enjoy the shapeless, you don't know my shape, and I'm happy with that of it all. Piping, sizzling hot take, but I think it's pretty uninteresting to constantly need to center being skinny in an outfit. Takes one to know one, right? Listen, been there, done that, and ultimately it's just boring. I don't think it's very creative. I think if it's required to pull off a look, then the look is just probably not that good. Is it skinny or is it a fit of it all, which I do want to say that those can sometimes lean into very misogynistic and body policing territory. However, I understand most of the intention behind that trend, which is that we often both praise and platform like thin celebrities for being these style icons when it's like their style is jeans and a t-shirt. Do you actually want the jeans and a t-shirt, or do you want the body wearing the jeans and a t-shirt, right? Versus like so many mid to plus size fashion influencers I can think of that just never feel like they receive their flowers for having the most incredible, cool, unique, creative, like boundary breaking style, and it's just not received the same way because a different body is wearing it. And it's frustrating, okay? At this point in my life, I am so intrigued by what feels like genuine expressions of creativity and people having fun through their clothing and in return also doing that. But I can understand that for some people that's not what they're looking to get out of an outfit, and I get it. I've almost done this 180 with fashion where I am now drawn to things that are controversial in a way, or like repulse and really elicit this love or hate polarizing reaction within people, and I love that. Things like tabbies as an example. So many people have so many opinions about tabbies, and I've mentioned this in previous videos, but I personally love my hooves. You aren't going to take my hooves away from me. I get they're not for everyone.
Give me an unpopular fashion opinion.
It's a little controversial, but I hate tabbies.
I hate them too. I also hate clogs.
And I kind of like clogs. I kind of dig them.
I'm trying to look good when I go out. I don't want to look like I have a horse hoof on.
They
I
do
don't
kinda look like
understand the
hooves.
appeal.
Not everybody is fun and whimsical and wants to like gallop around in their hooves. The weird, off-putting, ugly elements to these items, it's some of the draw for me now, and I actually view it as a pro. For me, I think that's a sign of growth. I also do think it's a sign that regardless of how off-putting or ugly something I'm wearing is, I am doing it while in a body that still fits in a certain beauty standard, and it would feel really naive not to acknowledge that. When I say I'm your too woke friend, I'm not joking, I'm being serious, and I make no apologies, because I do think as much as these systems very much cater to a white beauty standard, when it comes to certain standards, who's adhering to them, what that means and what somebody gets out of it, it is obviously going to be very different for a woman of color, somebody existing in a bigger body, disabled people, right? Like they might feel like they have to adhere to certain standards to be taken more seriously, like day to day or in a professional setting, also just safer. I don't like that that's the reality, but it is, and it would be stupid for me not to say that. That is really all I'm going to say about that part of the conversation though, because I'm not going to speak on an experience that is not my lived experience. However, I would love to know if it is yours, what you think and your thoughts in the comments below. Just like any of you, what you think about any of the things I mentioned. Ultimately, through all of the varied experiences when it comes to the topic of flattering, I think it can only be a net positive to encourage each other, especially women, to just ask ourselves where these beliefs came from, what is the root of them, where did we learn this stuff, who taught it to us, what do they gain from this, and what do we gain from it. But Before you go anywhere and we wrap up this video, I do want to thank the sponsor of this video, which is Squarespace. I am so genuinely excited anytime I get to work with Squarespace in a video because I feel like everybody needs a website these days and they are seriously my go-to platform for building a website. I am not nearly as tech savvy as some might assume, which is why I really appreciate the thousands of pre-made templates that Squarespace offers. However, if you are interested in customizing your site, they have tons of really easy to use and navigate tools where you can switch up the font, different colors, add images, anything you need to get your site to match your vibe. You have the ability to create literally anything from an online storefront to a resume or even a professional portfolio, which is one of my favorite features from Squarespace. Customize your galleries, display your projects, and you can even password protect some of your work so only certain clients have access to them. If you happen to be more interested in something along the lines of, let's say, opening up an e-commerce site, Squarespace does have features where you can not only sell physical products, but also subscriptions or memberships, all accompanied by sales analytics and any of the data and demographics that you would need. You can get started with Squarespace by scanning the QR code up on the screen or heading to squarespace.com/Caroline Tucker for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you so much to Squarespace for partnering with me on this video. It is truly always a pleasure. And with that, I think that is officially going to be it for this video. Also, my camera battery is flashing, so whether I want this to be over or not, this thing's about to die, so we're gonna have to be done here. Like I always say, but I always do mean it, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video and spend 20-25 minutes with me. I hope you got something from it, whether it was entertainment, education, thought-provoking in any way. Cross my fingers, all three. I'm really excited to go through the comments of this video and hear what all of you have to say, so make sure to let me know your thoughts. Stay sexy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!